Hey guys, I got in a newly released scope from CVLIFE. This is called the BearPower. It's a 6 to 24 by 50 scope, and it's definitely on the premium side of their scopes. But I figured we'd do a quick unboxing. We'll go over all the features and specifications. We'll check out all the details of it. We'll get it mounted to something, get to the range, put a few shots through it, and then give some thoughts on it. So it obviously just comes in this plain white box. I will say that the box does feel very, very sturdy and again on the premium side. I would like to see a CVLIFE logo somewhere on it though. But let's get this tape cut here. And let's get this stuff out of here and see everything that comes with it. So some padding up on top. Got a manual. Show you guys this quickly. Again, you can pause and read anything because I guarantee there will be stuff on here that I don't go over. All right, so we have a lens cleaning cloth. Looks like an Allen key. I'm dropping some stuff out, so we have at least one lens cover. There's 2 batteries. That appears to be a throw lever. That'll be for our magnification. These are probably scope rings. Oh, okay. I see that the other lens cap is already on there. I think that's everything. Let's look at these scope rings real quick. Those actually feel very nice. Those are kind of more along the, again, the premium line. And then there's another Allen key, but that's not Allen. It's like a star shape tool in there. And then it looks like a bunch of screws. And as you can see, there's a lot of really nice thick padding in here. I'll be honest, this came from Amazon, and the box that they shipped it in was destroyed on both ends because they tried using too small of a box, and this was in here like angled, and both corners were busted through, but there was no damage on this box because again, it is a really sturdy box. We'll get the scope out here. There is a sunshade with this as well. So we'll get that put on in a bit, and we'll get everything off here. So this is the BearPower. Just giving you guys some up close here, looking at the anodization. Again, this is definitely on the premium side for CVLIFE. This is probably the nicest scope that I've ever had from them. Kind of quickly show you the scope rings here. They are probably, no, they are for sure the nicest that I've ever received with the CVLIFE scope. Again, they just kind of feel like a much higher quality. Even the hardware seems to be of better quality. And if you take them both and line them up, it should look like basically one continuous. I mean, the lineup there is perfect. The lines are exactly right on. So these are definitely premium. These lens covers are kind of a combination of like a thicker rubber and a plastic. So it's soft and pliable through here, but then this pops open pretty easily. And I'll check these out here in a bit while they're on and see how noisy they are. But those actually, again, feel very nice, super high quality. And let's quickly check out that sunshade. Make sure that it threads on here fine, what it feels like. try to hold this away a little bit so that that sound doesn't kill the microphone. Threads on really smooth. Nice lockup. Hopefully I get some sunny days to try that out. All right, some of the features and specifications on this BearPower is it is a 6-24x50 first focal plane. Again, our 6-24 is what our magnification is. So it's going to be 6 times zoom basically to start, and then all the way up to 24 times zoom. And so imagine if your target is 100 yards, well, it's already going to be 6 times basically closer than that. And you could turn it all the way up to where it looks like it's really just a few yards away. And the 50 is the size of the lens up here. It's a 50mm lens. It is 14.5 inches long and weighs 29 ounces. The waterproof rating on it is IPX7. The ocular lens is 35mm. The tube diameter is 34mm. Most of your average scopes are 30 or 31. So having this allows for a whole lot more light transmission, and it should be very, very clear. I mentioned a little bit ago that it's a first focal plane. Usually your premium scopes are FFP, and what that kind of means is that the reticle will actually change. It gets bigger as you change your magnification to a higher number, and then obviously smaller as you go back. And I'll try to show you guys that maybe when I'm at the range or outside so you can see what I'm talking about. Has multi-coated lenses, and the whole thing is fog-proof, shock-proof, waterproof. Quickly showing you some of the parts of the scope. You have your diopter adjustment back here. So basically, if you look through it and your reticle is a little bit blurry or not as clear, you can more or less just turn this and it brings you back into focus. Mention that magnification lever. It is a little bit stiff right now. I'm going to go ahead and mount that throw lever on here. Get that nice and tight, so that'll make it easier to grab onto that and change your magnification. We have our windage and elevation adjustments here. Let's see what that sounds like. So very tactile. Loud clicks, and you can feel every click as well. So those are nice, and it locks in. So yeah, you pull that out to make your adjustments, and you push it back in to lock your adjustments. And the elevation adjustments are also very audible and tactile. Over on the side, we have a parallax adjustment that goes all the way down to 10 yards, and then basically up to like infinity. The last one is 500, and then like an infinity. A scope like this, like you can possibly go out to 800 yards, 1,000 yards. My range doesn't have anything near that distance. But yeah, you can use a 6-24x50 for really long range stuff. And then this does have an illuminated reticle. So this will be our battery door here. Get a battery in a minute. And how many adjustments do we have? Again, that is pretty stiff right now. So basically you're going to have like an on and then an off. An on at a higher number and an off. So it looks like there's 6 on that. So 6 levels of brightness. All right, guys, I'm getting the scope mounted here so I can get out to the range. Just so you know, a scope like this is really designed for more of like a high power rifle. I'm putting on a 22. It's overkill. I mean, I can use it on this rifle, but it's really designed, like I used to have a 308. That would probably be a good rifle for the scope. I used to have a 30-06, probably a good one. You could put it on something like a 300 Win Mag or a 300 Weatherby, but it's really designed for something that's a little bit bigger than what this is. And just like the 22, You could use a scope like this on your AR 5.56, 2.23, whatever. It's just a little bit of overkill. Like, you'll probably never use the magnification that it goes up to. And so again, it's really designed for something that's more high power. All right, I got the scope mounted, got the proper eye relief for me, and it's level. And they do make little levels that you can put on the scope so you can get it perfectly level. I don't use anything like that. I have multiple brick walls inside of my house, and I just kind of use like the mortar lines. I know that the wall is pretty level, and so I just use where two of the mortar lines or whatever will come together. You could even use something as simple as this, just so you know that these are level, so your lines are level. Then you could just hang this on the wall, and then make sure that when you hang it, it's level, and then basically put your crosshairs on something as simple as this, and that'll get you pretty dang close to being level. I was going to try to get you guys a view of what this illuminated reticle looks like, but unfortunately the camera doesn't pick it up real well. But you do have a red dot in the middle, and then all of the actual reticle itself is completely illuminated, including all of the different distances. All right, guys, out at the range this morning with that CVLIFE 6-24x50 scope. Set up down there at 50 yards. I've taken a few shots already. Unfortunately, like the range that I go to, I've only got 50 and 88 yards. I do have some clay pigeons down there at the 88. I don't know how well that'll show up, and then I'm set up there at 50. So I'm gonna get some more rounds through this, and then we'll get some thoughts on it. This is always so hard to capture on camera, but this is the 6 times magnification. All right, guys, I'm back from the range. I want to get some thoughts on the CVLIFE BearPower. So I'm obviously only testing it on a 22 long rifle, and the yardages were at 50 yards and 90 yards. And like I mentioned earlier in the video, this scope really is designed for high-powered rifles. I'd say like a 308 minimum, and it's really designed for yardages up to 1,000, maybe even 1,500 yards. But there just wasn't any way for me to test like the true limits of the scope. So let me start by saying this is for sure the nicest scope that CVLIFE has ever sent me. In fact, it's probably one of the nicest scopes that I've ever had from any company. The glass on this BearPower is so clear, it really looks like there isn't even glass there. And because of that increased tube size, it allows for all of that light transmission, so everything is just crystal clear. The morning that I was at the range, there was a ton of fog, ton of moisture in the air. My shooting glasses actually kept fogging up on me, and I'd have to pull them off to kind of like clear them back off. Glass here did not fog whatsoever. I shot over 100 rounds that morning at varying magnifications. Having that little throw lever on there really helps move this thing around so you don't really lose your sight picture and stuff. I felt like the eye relief was really good. I could put my cheek in multiple places along my rear stock here, and the eye relief looked the same in every position that I was at. I showed some pictures earlier in the video of the Christmas tree style reticle. I believe that is an etched reticle. And one like nice thing about it is if the battery were to fail in this, the reticle is always there. Even though this is illuminated, you don't have to use it. And if you were using it and the battery fails, your reticle is still there. The windage and the elevation adjustments probably have the most positive clicks that I've ever had on a scope. Again, very tactile and audible. having a parallax adjustment is pretty much a must on a long range scope. Um, it's not quite as simple as like getting your rifle sighted in at 100 yards and then you just change this to 200 or 300. It's not quite as simple as that, because then you still do have to do some focus back here, but this will at least get you close. But the most important thing on these is that it basically keeps your reticle and your target in line with one another. But yeah, overall, I do think it's a really good scope. I think that they use really high quality materials. I think it's constructed really well. And if I had any complaints or suggestions at all, it would be just to put their branding or logo somewhere on this box. And again, the box is a super high quality box. I just don't like seeing just a plain white generic looking box. So let's talk pricing before we wrap this video up. At the time of recording, these are coming in basically at $230. I think I've had this about 3 weeks or so, and they've been that same price the whole time. And I know that's a lot of money, but when you compare all of the features that this scope has to similar ones with the same features, those are in the $600+ range. I mean, you can even get into the $2,000 and $3,000 range, but most of them start off at around $600. Even some of the lower tier like Bushnell, they're $550 to $600 or so. You start getting into the Vortex and the loopholes and stuff like that, you're at $600, $700, $800. So a 6 to 24 by 50 scope, again with these features, this is a heck of a deal. So I will leave an Amazon link in the video description. I'm sure there's features and specifications that I left out in this video, so if you just want to go and read some more up on it, it'll be down there. If you guys found this video helpful or informative in any way, give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. And that's going to be it on this one. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it.